Hello and welcome to the show. My first guest today is the seasoned hair care expert with a thriving clientele to boot. Her signature mushroom cuts and hair growth techniques keep clients coming in literally from all over the world. But her talent started when she was just a little girl playing in her grandmother's hair. Please welcome to the show, Khy Elijah. Hello.
Hi, Portia. How are you?
I am great, and I'm so honored to have you here. I'm so grateful that you would tell your story for the first time here
Ever.
on Portia. Because everybody's used to you just cutting.
Everybody used to me just
And not
hair.
really hearing from you. So
Yes.
tell us your story. This starts as a little girl in her grandma's hair.
Yes. So I was 5 years old when I got my start with braiding. I learned how to braid very early, and naturally I became the family braider.
Okay.
But my first client of all was my grandma. She is the reason I even knew I was a hairstylist and got started. One day she was picking me up from one of my many hair appointments, and the stylist at the time asked her, "Well, who braids your hair?"
Yeah.
And at the time she had some natural design braids, and she's like 65, walking around with this young hairstyle in. Yes, that's her. And the stylist said to her, "Oh no, you drop her off here every weekend and every summer. She's gonna braid the little girl's hair in the salon."
Wow.
And I worked there for 4.5 years. So from 12 to about almost 17, I had got my start in the hair care
So you
industry.
learn early from the pros.
Yes, that I had a talent. But one thing, Portia, though, I didn't think I would be a hairstylist.
Really?
I just thought I was
Were you
good
kind
at
of
it.
like tired after all those years
No,
in there?
I think it was, I just didn't like the shop culture too much. I just
interesting.
kind of felt like it was a ceiling. And I just always knew my grandmother raised me to go beyond the ceiling.
Absolutely.
And I felt like I would be stuck in my hometown. I felt like
And your
I would,
hometown is where?
It is Orange, New Jersey. So it's pretty small, and I know too many people who have kind of been stuck there, and I felt like I never seen a hairstylist go far and beyond. So I just thought it was something to do.
Right. So
Yes.
what were you doing with your hair? Did your mother relax your hair when you were a little girl?
Yes, so I actually got relaxed when I was in the 4th grade, and it wasn't. I really wanted it, and I believe it had a lot to do with just the times and how they emphasized the straight hair.
Right, silky smooth.
Right, I wanted to be like my
and
friends.
it had it to be. You wanted it to be long.
Yes, and in all actuality, I really didn't need to. But that's also a part of the switch that came about when everybody started going natural. Everybody understood straight hair.
Yeah.
They didn't understand fro hair.
And having to take the time to section
Exactly.
and start from the root to the tip.
Exactly.
All of the things, because that
Yes.
takes up more chair time, right?
It
Honestly.
really, really does. So around 8, when I got out of undergrad, so I am very polished. I have a bachelor in English writing, a master's in public administration, because I just ran from hair for so many years, Portia. I just knew.
At what point did you finally embrace it? And I should point out, the viewers are looking at video of you and your journey,
Yes,
right? After
yes.
you cut off your relaxer?
Yes. So my journey started after I realized what my clients were able to do. My clients inspired me to believe in my own hair too. So many times the hairstylist hair is never done, or the nail tech nails are never done.
Yeah.
But when they started coming back with their results from the information I was giving them, it had me rethink my own hair journey.
What was the biggest lesson you learned about loving your natural hair after all those years?
The biggest lesson I learned is understanding where you are so you can understand where your hair is. Because the 20-year-old hair journey is not the same as someone who's 40.
Absolutely, right.
So that's the biggest thing, is to grow with your hair and understand what it needs for that time in that place.
And speaking of growing with your hair, when people watch your videos, right? I love this perfect example, right?
Yes.
It starts with hair. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's medium, sometimes it's short. But you always go in because you're looking for, what are you looking for? You were looking for the damaged starts?
So basically how my cutting technique started was I used to be in love with male cutters. I would watch them so many times on YouTube and just kind of study their mannerisms. And then also from the different stylists I was assisting along my way. I took little bits and pieces, but that's actually how I ended up in Atlanta. Once I got done with my master's program and I decided to take hair seriously, I said, okay, God, I have to figure out, all right, if I'm going to do this, because so many times I would say I'm not doing this. I had a conversation with him and I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best. And it was at that moment in time that I single-handedly set out to dismember every black hair myth there was. Every myth that, go ahead, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay, because I'm wondering, so, and when you're talking about the myth, right, that you have to have long hair to be pretty,
Yes.
that you have which gets you to the mushroom cut,
Exactly.
right?
So many times I would meet clients early on where my hair doesn't grow it doesn't grow the same in the front and the back, or my hair gets to a certain length and it starts breaking, or just so many different things that they in our community that was the reason why black hair can never get long. And so when I would hear those things from my clients and I decided that, okay, this is the path I was going to take, I started studying black hair. I started writing things down, trying to figure out how am I going to attack this so that way we can have long and healthy hair. We can keep it, because the problem wasn't growing it for a lot of them. It was keeping it on their head and keeping it healthy.
And keep it from breaking off, right?
Because
you get to that point, you got all this new growth, and then it thins out, right?
So the mushroom cut was there for the setup, so that way I can put a good foundation in the hair. What I realized was if the hair has a strong foundation, we can build upon that over the years.
And so what does your foundation look like? Because eventually you started your own hair care line, right? So what are we missing across the board? Is it the moisture? And what
so when I started studying and I decided that I would do hair for real, I started studying that moisture and strength is what black hair is missing, because it is so delicate. So like other races and ethnicities, they have a lot more dense hair than we do naturally. So black hair, we have about maybe 7 layers around each strand of hair, whereas other races, ethnicities, they have about 14.
This is the first time I've ever heard this.
Right.
This is so interesting.
It's very much, they have a lot more layers to work with. So when you do things to hair, like for instance, color, that breaks down those layers, ripping the melanin out of it. So if it's ripped out of it too much, or
that's when you start to get breakage.
Right.
We're going to pause.
Okay.
No, we're going to pause right here.
Yes.
This is so interesting. But we're going to take a quick break. And before we take a break, you're going to meet Nate and Debbie. They let go of their perms and their relaxers some time ago, and now they rock their natural hair. Khy says she can tell a whole lot about hair health just by starting at the scalp and then making your way from root to tip. So stick around. We're going to learn more about hair coming up. And then later, I'm going to ditch my piece. I call this one Shaka Khan. I'm going to get a consultation of my natural hair as well. Don't want to miss. We're going to learn from scalp to tip. We'll be right back.